So let's look at how to do the Audio Scales 3 synthesis project. We're going to create a MIDI track that uses the SAW synth patch on the sound sampler, sound module called the Presence XT. So let's do that. Drag one of them over, go into the sounds, go to synths, and then go to SAW synth. It'll sound like this. Cool. Now the next thing we need to do is we need to connect it to a filter. It's called an LP24 ladder filter. And a filter is something that just cuts out sound. We're going to use a filter to carve out all this different rich information in the higher area of the SAW synth. So this is what happens when I do that. I'm going to click here, filter. When I grab this cutoff, it tells where is the filter going to filter things out. Listen to what happens. So it cuts out all these high harmonics or overtones of the sound. So what we're going to need to do is connect this filter, okay, to a modulator. A modulator is something that changes things for us automatically. So it says connects LFO1, low frequency oscillator 1, to this filter by Modulation A. It's a bit complicated, so let's look and see what that is. So if we go down to the bottom section here, we'll see Mod A and Mod B. Let's click on Mod A. Mod A, or Modulation A, just gives us a bunch of different things that we can change over time in the music. Same with Mod B, but it's a bunch more. We really only need to do this first one because it's like several instances of the same thing. So what are we going to do? We're going to go and we're going to connect an automatic controller called a low frequency oscillator, low frequency changer controller. We're going to pick that thing, LFO1, low frequency oscillator 1, and down at the bottom here we assign what it connects to, or its target. We want to change the cutoff frequency of the filter, this thing here. So what's going to happen now is this thing called LFO over here, it's going to go back and forth in one of these little patterns, back and forth, back and forth, and that pattern back and forth will be used to go back and forth on this cutoff. It's going to move it, basically move this dial for us at whatever rate we set. So here, if we set it to almost 3 times a second, well, then it would go like this, back and forth, and control this cutoff for us. We could assign it to whatever we want. So it's just an automator that lets us automatically control stuff. Okay, so let's go back, and we have LFO1 controlling the filter's cutoff. This little part in the middle tells us how much is going to cut things off. We want it to go all the way, so drag it all the way to the right. We're almost done. Now all we have to do is give a speed for how fast it's going to control the filter. So I'm going to turn this up here to about a little bit over 3 times a second, and this is what happens. Can make it go faster. Okay, so we've got that working. Increase the resonance of the filter so the harmonics of the SAW can be heard. Let's do that. This is the resonance here of the filter. And if we turn it up, it makes it more obvious where we're cutting away the sound. Let's listen to that. At this speed, we can hear it getting a little bit more in our faces, but let's turn it quite a bit down so we can hear the real sweeping through. Without it, and with it, so you basically hear the point at which it's cutting things off. It really magnifies or brightens that point, makes like a laser light right where it's cutting things off. Next, we need to change this ADSR envelope of the sawtooth synth to sound like a pad and have a long tail. What does that mean? This thing here, amplitude envelope, tells how the sound changes over time in loudness. Attack, decay, sustain, and release. Attack tells us how long it takes to get the sound from no sound to its loudest sound. If we have no waiting time for the attack, it'll sound instantaneous like this. Right away. Instant sound. But if I put an attack here, and you can see it's gone in over like almost 3 seconds now. Now when I hit it, it'll take a little while to get to its loudest sound. Kind of zooms up there. Let's make it even longer. Just even more. So it takes a while to get to the main loudness. Let's turn this down now, listen. Instantly starts. And now more gradually. Gets our loudness there. Release. Want to let go of the sound. Instantly stops. If I make a long release, after I let my fingers off the keys, it'll delay and decay for a while. Take a couple seconds for the sound to go away. Now we can do these things different patterns too. I have it doing a sine wave for the filter. But in a square, it'll go up and down immediately. On and off, basically. I'm gonna turn this rate up. Has a long release. Takes a while for the attack to come onto. Let go of it. Slowly releases. Cool. So what's next? We made this slowly, gradually increase in its amplitude for the attack, and then in the release, long tail. Next, use at least 2 effects. Choose from FX A or B. So if we look down where they had modulation down here, we have FX as well, which just is an abbreviation for effects. There's a couple different things it offers. Modulation, different ways of messing with things over time. We have this chorus, flancher, and phaser. Delay, this is typically a pretty good one on reverb. So here's it with regular. Here's it with reverb. Bigger sound. big, giant, epic sounds with that. Okay, I already have some kind of delay-like sounds happening because of this LFO. So I'm going to ignore this delay in here. Look at this though. I have some other effects. I could do panning. So let's do that as my next one. It goes back and forth in the speakers. It's a bit too fast. Let's do it slower. Oops. Opposite direction. Make it go slower than that, like every measure or something. Maybe 2 measures. Yeah. Not a lot of things are happening. It's changing over time with filter sweeps. It's gradually increasing its amplitude, welling up and decaying. It has a big present sound because I have this reverberation on it. I've got it going back and forth in the speakers from left to right. So lots of different things here. Okay. So I'm done with that. Now I can just take this, just the file as it is with the settings I have, and upload it to my Audio Skill Synth link here. So let's hear that one more time. Here's a sound I've created. Here's the original saw synth that we started with. So quite a difference. That's it for Audio Skills 3.